Anthony Narciso. I'm the sound designer, projections designer, and composer of the show. So I started out at a young age. I fiddled around with computers and music a lot, and that sort of transitioned to me going into middle school and starting to work with sound technology, thanks to a recommendation from a band teacher in middle school. And then that translated to being an audio engineer in high school. And then in college, I started focusing on more design, as I found I like designing more. I like creating as opposed to mixing audio. And through a various chain of events with professors, I kind of picked up on music composition and projection design along the way, and just developed all three skills as a whole as I progressed through my professional career. So I started out researching various patriotic material. For me, it was really important that the instrumentation of the music composition reflects what our ears expect to hear when we are dealing and working with a show that's set in America in colonial times and even more modern times. There's a palette with rich strings and rich horn sounds that I wanted to emulate. So if you go and look at tracks from The West Wing, or even go into like the American Adventure at Epcot, you hear a very specific music style, and that's what I was looking to emulate for the music composition. For sound effects, it's really important that we use the sound to help tell the story and location. So if there's a battle scene, we want to make sure that we're emulating that, and that crowd sounds in a battle sound different from crowd sounds in a protest. So it's about making very specific choices that are distinct, that tell us where we are in the story. For projections, we kind of look towards historical images. Me and Cindy White, the set designer, collaborated on that, and then we picked historical images that we were allowed to use and showcase on our projection screens, and we used them to help set the backdrop of our show. And sometimes that's a location, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a powerful image of the time period, because we both have to tell the time period in our scene, but we also really want to showcase the images and the powerful emotions that a lot of the movements cause. Well, an interesting thing was through the projection design, we really found it interesting to see how much areas have changed over time. When researching the images, we found historical landmarks of places that we wanted to use, but we couldn't use them because they now have big brown signs outside them, almost right up against their walls, saying that this is a historical landmark and this is what it signifies, this is why it's a historical landmark. But when looking to take images and set them in a historical context, we couldn't use all of them because they became a tourist attraction. So a big challenge to overcome was finding an image that we can make period appropriate, but also use in the show. I am most proud of the score for the show. I feel like it very much tells our story, and it's a very unique palette of different sounds. It takes us from this patriotic feel to this action movie that bookends the play that you don't really expect. But then the action movie somehow grows into other moments. Like, you go from an action movie to Revolutionary War, and then you go from the 70s back to the action movie, and then into a patriotic sounding end. So the variation in music was really a challenge, and creating the whole thing took a lot of intricate work and a lot of intricate orchestration to effectively tell our story. I hope that audiences recognize how important these stories that we were showcasing are, and what a struggle it was for everyone to obtain voting rights. So I hope they leave and then realize that they shouldn't throw their vote away. They shouldn't not go out and vote, because so many people have worked hard and spent their entire lives to get voting rights to those people.